Hey, Julie Roussel here. Hey, welcome, and thanks for joining in on this wacky Wednesday, where you never know what the topic's going to be, or if I'll actually make it on time due to baseball. But hey, that's the way life rolls sometimes. So hey, welcome, and thanks for joining in, whether you are popping in live right now, or you are catching on the replay. I'm glad that you could pop in. Sometimes I'm in my kitchen for a little conversation, and sometimes we're not. But hey, welcome and thanks for joining in. As always, if you hear anything that you find valuable, would you please leave a reaction, comment your thoughts in the thread anytime. Share the video with anyone you think it might help, and PM me if you have questions or want to hear more. I'm always happy to share the things that I'm learning, and I hope that they help you. So hey, welcome. I see a few people joining in. For once, it's actually showing me who you are. So hey, John, nice to see you, bud. It's been a long time. Hey, hello, Carrie. Hope you and the girls are doing well. Oh, and a bug. Hello, Donna. Nice to see you. This is the first time we've caught each other live. Good to catch you both. So hey, well, like I said, welcome. And if you hear something you find, or if you happen to see something that's out of place, let me know what you think it is. But I'm going to go right on and ask the questions because people are popping in and out. So if I miss you, hey, welcome. I'm glad you could pop in. So are you using the best protection this summer? Do you know what it is? So I wanted to pop on real quick to share a quick story, as well as a few, hey, Gary, there you are, lady. Now it's showing me that you popped in. Awesome. But I wanted to pop in and share a quick story and a few quick tips to pass along that are really important. For most of you that don't know, it is Skin Cancer Awareness Month. So I wanted to close out the month with just a few tips to get you through the summer. And as most people know, I'm not a dermatologist or a dermatology PA. I'm fortunate enough to work for a dermatological company, and I have the privilege of working alongside some of the top dermatology PAs as well as dermatology doctors in the world. So they were kind enough to pass along a few of their tips, along with tips shared by the Skin Cancer Foundation. So I wanted to share them with you tonight. That's why I'm outside, even though it was sunny just a few minutes ago. It's not now. But hey, that's the way life rolls sometimes. So the reason that I do share a little bit and try to raise awareness about skin cancer is because I have a personal reason for it. I have several immediate family that have been diagnosed, including my dad, and it was a very frightening and scary experience, as well as a ton of close friends, whether they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and even 60s. And they've been battling it multiple times in multiple locations. And I had my own scare not too long ago. I had some dark patches that were popping up on my face and realized that they were just sunspots. And I was able to clear them by products that I was using. But, you know, it definitely does scare you at the time. And it's something that makes you a little bit more aware of it. As well as my youngest, Nicholas. I was very worried about him with acquiring skin cancer at a young age because he had many reactions to different sunscreens that we tried. Red, burning, irritating, crying. It was terrible. So until we found ones that he could tolerate. So I had some recommendations that I wanted to pass along, just some basic knowledge to get you through the summer to help keep you less burned so that you can spend more time out enjoying your summer. So there's just a few basic facts, and as I mentioned before, these are not my own. These are ones that come directly from the Skin Cancer Foundation, and these are their tips and recommendations, and I'll place the links to many of the articles and best tips and best sunscreen practices from the Skin Cancer Foundation in the thread when I've ended the video. So you'll be able to check those links out for yourself. Okay, so number one, some basic facts from the Skin Cancer Foundation. There are 5, and you can hear the train in the background. Hey, there are 5.4 million new cases of skin cancer every year. And 1 in 5 people will develop skin cancer in their lifetime. And skin cancer has more diagnosis than all the other cancers combined. That's right. Every other kind, all of them combined. And there is a myth that only people with fair skin like myself are going to be the only ones that would be diagnosed with skin cancer, and that's completely false. And it can happen to you regardless of your age or your skin type or your ethnicity. Skin cancer does not discriminate. Okay, so now that you know a little bit of the facts, here are just some best tips and practices that are from dermatologists and dermatology PAs, as well as the same recommendations from the Skin Cancer Foundation. So number one, when you look at your sunscreen, you want to look on your bottles and you want to look and find the expiration date. Now this one here, it does not have an expiration date and it's pretty old. So I usually use this just as a demonstrator and I won't touch it, because if the sunscreen you're using is expired, there's an important fact that I wasn't aware of that you need to know as well. You want to check your bottle, because the shelf life, you can see right here, I'll show you on the bottom of this one. I see that it's backwards on your screen. It says expiration 4 of 2020. And what I found out after speaking with a dermatologist is that after 2 years, so you would receive no protection from the sunscreen in the bottle if it's past the expiration date. Because just like food, just like any other product, there's an expiration date for a reason. And you get no protection after 2 years. Not 2 years from when you opened it, 2 years from when it's bottled. So it may have been sitting on a shelf at Walmart for, maybe the last year and year and a half, a year and, 6-9 months. So even though it says on there 4 of 2020, if it's 5 of 2020, you don't want to be using this. So find the date on the top of the bottle or the bottom and take a look at it. And don't use it if it's past the expiration date. And the reason I know that you don't receive any protection is because I've been using an expired sunscreen a couple years ago, and I couldn't figure out why I kept getting burned over and over again on my face and the side of my neck. And when I absently looked at the expiration date one day, I realized that it was about a year expired. Yeah, and when you get burned repeatedly, it does cause a lot of dark spots. It causes a lot of changes to your skin, and you might have to use a lot of different products to try to reverse that damage. Okay, next thing, when you look at your sunscreen bottle, you want to look for, I don't know how well you can see that, but it says UVA, UVB broad spectrum. And according to the Skin Cancer Foundation, you want to see that on the label, UVA, UVB broad spectrum SPF 30. Because the UVA and UVB rays are the most harmful ones in the spectrum that have the most cancer-causing radiation. So you want to keep that to a minimum. SPF 15 and lower isn't going to help you out as much. So they recommend SPF 30, as well as my dermatologist recommended the same thing. So next thing on there, you want to look and find if it says water resistant. There it is down at the bottom here. We have UVA and UVB SPF up at the top, and water resistant 40 to 80 minutes on the bottle, so that you know. Because if you don't have a sunscreen that's water resistant, the first time that you hop in the pool or the ocean, all that's going to come sloughing right off into the water and you get no protection. And if you are like me, you're going to get fried after you've been in the pool for maybe a half hour. So just look for the water resistant. Next thing, and this is where most people get stuck. Reapply every 2 hours, especially after swimming or sweating. And I know how hard that is to be consistent and reapply it every 2 hours. But unfortunately, the barrier on your skin when you've applied it only lasts for 2 hours. So after that, it breaks down, and especially, go away bugs. And especially if you've been in the water, swimming, lake, sweating profusely, all that protection just gets sweated right off. So you want to make sure that you reapply it. And last but not least, you want to cover up with your high UPF or UV protection factor clothing. Any wide brimmed hat. Can you see how, look at the brim of this hat here, it's very wide, it falls all the way around. It would cover onto the sides of your ears and the back of your neck, as well as other types of protection. Baseball hat here, shades, umbrella, you name it. And spend some time in the shade. Hey, I see a few more joining in. Hey Tiff, nice to see you. Hey Joe, thanks for popping in. Good to see y'all. But like I said, just make sure that you cover up, head for the shade, add your high UPF protection factor clothing. So as I said before, these are tips from the Skin Cancer Foundation. You're welcome to find them on the website. I will place that link in the thread when I've completed and ended the video. And that way you can check them out. So as I said, these are not my own tips. Some of them are based on my own painful burning experiences. So I wanted to at least pass that on to you so you could avoid the painful burning. So if you found these tips valuable, would you please leave a reaction, leave a hey, drop a shout, or ask any questions in the thread if you have any. You're welcome to share the video with anyone you think it might help or might need a little sunscreen reminder. And PM me if you have questions or need recommendations on sunscreens for regular acne or even sensitive skin like my little buddy Nicholas. I'll be happy to pass along a few. So skin cancer. Yeah, it's the fastest growing cancer. There are 5.4 million new cases every year. It has more diagnosis than all other types of cancer combined. 50% of people don't actually apply sunscreen. And most out of that 50% don't even remember to reapply. And applying sunscreen isn't something that most people think much about or, are actually aware of. And it's not something that you actually consider until it happens to you or a family member. So if you follow the tips that I mentioned, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. That's why I have notes. You can drop your risk and your family's risk of skin cancer dramatically just by following those few quick little reminders. I'll catch you later.